All right, you have to be adaptable. This is a topic I've probably done a video on before, but I really like this topic, so we're gonna record another one today. We're out here in Los Angeles here for a shoot, and it was definitely more on the chaotic side. As a content creator, I am more than used to this, luckily, and this is something that if you are a content creator, you probably would agree with me on that. This is not necessarily you have to be able to work in any conditions, right? You're never necessarily guaranteed perfect shooting conditions. In fact, it may be the opposite. And the expectation a lot of the times, especially in the circumstances that I have worked in, is you need to be able to thrive in these situations. And the value that you bring is just that. You know what I mean? It's not just that you're good at what you do, it's that you are specifically cool in situations that other people might just crack and crumble and get completely stressed out and be like, oh my God, nothing is happening how I expected. And now I don't know what to do. And now the result's just not going to be there. It's like, no, in those situations, you have to make sure that you can perform and that you have, you're able to produce some kind of a result. And of course, there are times in those situations where the people who you're with, potentially the client you're with, or, if you're working with an agency, production company like I was today, they understand, this is a situation there are variables that are out of their control. But, a lot of times, especially if you're starting out, you are on your own. And there is, say you're working for like a restaurant, right? I used to do videos for small businesses, which generally are restaurants, restaurants or clubs in your hometown. And if this is where you're at, if you're watching this video, I'm guessing you are potentially a content creator. If this is where you're at, it's just tough because you are the only person that can, decide how good this video is going to be, right? How good this piece of work is going to be. And you are not able to basically, if you have an excuse, it's just like, okay, well, it's an excuse. It's like it didn't turn out as good as it could have. And this is kind of where I've come up with my entire thing, which is do more with less. This is the do more with less mindset. And the reason I love it so much is because I have learned to actually flip this on its head. In other words, instead of having perfect conditions where you can get everything your way, expect that you have major constraints. Expect that you have major constraints and use those constraints to, instead of limiting your creativity, bring out your creativity within those constraints. Because I think when you have all the options in the world, imagine if you had all the time and money and budget and resources and everything that you need, right? What would you make? At that point, it's the sky's the limit. How are you not going to have kind of that, FOMO of, well, couldn't I have made something better if I had unlimited money and resources? It's like, you almost have to give yourself some sort of limitations, confines, right, to work with inside of, because that is where, instead of you're able to go deep, not wide, right? And that's, for example, today it's like, okay, we had extremely limited time. And this has been the case a few times on the last few things that honestly, a lot of the last things that I've worked on. It's like, okay, we have very, very limited time. How can we make the most of it? And it's sometimes just the fact that that you are within that constraint. It's like you are just happy with what you were able to have captured within that constraint, and then the people who are there with you seeing it, which is what happened today, are like impressed. They're like, oh wow, this is great. This guy actually, even in these conditions, was able to make something that looks basically fine. No one would know, right? No one would know that the conditions weren't perfect. And so yeah, I guess that's my message to you. And that really just takes time and practice, a lot of time and practice doing that. But the biggest thing is you have to be adaptable, and you have to, and the first part I think about being adaptable is you have to relax. You have to absolutely relax, and you have to just have this ironclad positive mindset. And I think this applies in a lot of areas, not just in work, as a content creator, in other areas of work and other industries, and as well as just in life in general. If you have an incredibly ironclad positive mindset, things will probably be fine. especially when it comes to creativity. If you don't have a positive mindset, you're just not going to be able to have fun doing it. And if you're not having fun doing it, you are probably not going to be producing anything that's that great, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. You have to be adaptable. You have to really learn to just work with what you've got. And I think that is the beauty of being a visual artist and a content creator is you can get away with so much cheating. You really can. And that's the do more with less thing. It's like, how can you just cheat it to make it look like it was something that was way more extravagant than it really was? You know, if you've ever seen behind the scenes shoots of movies, you know, I saw this one where it was this whole scene. They had the scene on top, and then it was a Instagram reel, and they had the scene on top, and then the behind the scenes on the bottom. And it's like what they create out of like nothing. You know, it's a green screen, and there's all these tracking points that they're going to put CGI and stuff. I'm sure it's a lot of work, but it's like the actual thing is not that glamorous, right? You can just you never should. Maybe this is the title of this video. You never should underestimate what you can do you never should underestimate what you can do within your constraints. And in fact, again, those constraints may actually help to bring out your creativity more so than they will limit it. And if you have that mindset, it's this ultimate positive mindset where you're like, yeah, cool, whatever, anything's great. This goes. I mean, obviously you need certain things. You need a camera, but I'm confident at this point where and again, this takes a lot of practice and a lot of practice to where you can show up to any situation. And this is a really powerful thing to have, especially in today's day and age where not everybody's working on a Hollywood set, not everybody's working on these big productions. Even when it is a big production such as today, you're still very limited. It still is chaotic. It's still a time crunch. And when you can show up in that situation and you are just completely confident in your ability to perform no matter what, even if my camera decided to just blow up, if my camera wasn't even there, I have a phone, I could do it. I'm confident I could do it. Would it be as good? No, obviously there's things if certain things went wrong, it's going to just be worse. But again, within those confines, I'm confident that I can exceed the expectation of whatever those confines are. And that is enough generally to make people around you very, very happy. And that's the takeaway from this. So, become more adaptable, really just practice on your own. Put yourself in a position to where you are confident in your skills and you know that you can perform without really much of anything. So that's all for today's video. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to make a few more while we're out here in LA. That's all for today. Appreciate it. See you guys soon.